What's up and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Kayvon Ezami. I am coming to you guys through the fightingchancefantasy.com. Check us out on Twitter. Check me out on Twitter as well at Kayvon_sports. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. As always, we've had some really good weeks so far. We went 5-3 last week, 5-2 the week before. We have been on fire to start this NFL season. And look, we're going to keep it rolling here. So everybody that has been listening to us, everybody that's been tuning into us since week one, we thank you. All of the newcomers that are following along, coming on board as you go, we thank you as well. We thank everyone. We really, really appreciate everybody that has been tuning in and watching this show, giving us likes, giving us comments. I can't tell you guys. So week one, after I did the show, didn't have anyone reach out to me about it. Of course, it was the first week, right? Since then, every week I have had people come into my DMs and say, hey, Kayvon, I like this play a lot. What do you think about this play? I appreciate you. Just a lot of communication from you guys out there, and that has been really cool. And like I tell everyone, please reach out to me. If I don't have a play that I say on here that you have a question about, please reach out to me. I would love to talk to you about it. If you have a question about a play that I do give out on here, reach out to me. I will always respond. Might not do it right away, but I will always respond. So this is Fighting Chance Fantasy. I'm your host, Kayvon Ezami. This is the week four, baby. We are moving along in the NFL season. It is pretty wild that we've been moving along like this already. But hopefully, we don't go too fast because we all love our NFL season. We don't want it to end, but it's been awesome. It's been great. So let's continue the train rolling. Let's keep having some fun. Let's keep cashing these bets, and let's go. So a couple of nuggets right off the show before we get into the picks. You guys know how I like to give you the nuggets, all right? Underdogs continue to absolutely roll so far this season. 9-6 last week, Underdogs. Underdogs went 9-6. That's 13-17 against the spread so far this season. So for those of you that are out just playing favorites all the time, you are losing money because the underdogs are howling, the dogs are barking, and they are cashing tickets, and it's at a remarkable rate right now. We'll see if that slows down. Usually it does. But right now, those underdogs have been real keen, and we were on a couple of them last week. Hopefully you guys followed us. Another nugget for you, road teams. Road teams are 27-20 against the spread so far this season. Our great friend here that also works for Fighting Chance Fantasy, Brian Drake, had me on his SiriusXM show. Pro Football Focus does a really good job there. The SiriusXM show on the fantasy app, on the fantasy channel. I think it's like channel 87. Go check that out on Saturdays. He does a really good job with it. He had me on that show last week, and I told him that the home field advantage is not that much of an advantage this year. It's not. Road teams are traveling fine. They're rolling into these stadiums fine, and they're winning with ease. It's not a problem this year. We all look at home field advantage like it's this scary factor. Right now, it is not that big of a deal. We'll see if that turns around, but right now, road teams are 27-20 against the spread so far this season. 27-20 against the spread this season. Remarkable rate right there. 19-9. Underdogs on the road are 19-9 against the spread. So 27-20 road teams, and underdogs 19-9 against the spread on the road. Just crazy. Okay, so one more nugget for you here, and then we'll get into our picks. Unders are 21-6 in the early 1 o'clock games to start the season. 21-6. So we're seeing a lot of unders in the early games this season. I mean, 21-6 is just a number that's I'm not telling you to go and blindly bet unders on 1 o'clock games, but if you've been doing that for the first 3 weeks, you are profitable. So congratulations to you. Still do your research. Don't just go and keep betting it because things always end up coming full circle and turning around. But right now, unders on those 1 o'clock games. I don't know if players are still sleepy a little bit. I don't know what's going on, but those unders are hitting at a remarkable rate right now. So let's get into it, okay? Let's start with our picks. Where we're going from here, New York Giants head to New Orleans. This is New Orleans' first home game since the hurricane. They've been on the road the first 3 weeks. They are now home. New Orleans is favored by 7.5 or 8, depending on the book that you can find, and the over-under is 42. That's a very low over-under. Now, this is a 1 o'clock game. Again, 1 o'clock games, unders are 21 and 6, okay? This is a very low under, so watch out for that. But I like the under here. That's not my official play for the show, but I like the under here. First home game for the Saints since the Hurricanes. Look, the question for this game to me becomes this. Which New Orleans team are we going to see? New Orleans is the definition of Jekyll and Hyde. We just don't know. Look, don't take too much away from that road game against the Pats. Yeah, it's a good win. It's an impressive win. But what we're starting to realize is the Pats have a lot of problems. The Pats have a lot of problems that people didn't realize coming into the season. Their O-line, which was supposed to be the dominant part of that team, is not moving the pocket the way that we all thought they were, which means their run game is not that great. Their D-line is not moving the opposing O-line the way we thought they were. They have a lot more issues than I thought, at least, going into this season. All right, I thought that their O-line was going to be phenomenal. I thought they were going to run on anyone. I thought their D-line was going to create pressure on the opposing quarterback. The Pats have not been able to do that at all. And Mac Jones is obviously going through what every rookie goes through, and that's some ups and downs. So while it was an impressive win, it wasn't something that I'm going to take account into as I move forward and look at this Saints team. The Saints defense has been great. They have one of the best defenses in the league. Their offense is not good. Their offense, don't take what you saw in week 1 against the Pats. Against the Packers. The Saints offense is not good. They only had 120 yards passing last week. 120 yards passing. This line is inflated because they won against the Patriots. It should not be this big. Do you really feel confident laying 7.5 points with Jameis Winston? He hasn't thrown over 150 passing yards yet this season. You know why? Because Sean Payton's not asking him to do that. Because I don't think Sean Payton trusts him to do that. Sean Payton is relying on his physical defense. He's relying on Alvin Kamara. He's relying on the other team making mistakes. And then he's capitalizing on short field possessions. And that's what's worked. That's how they've gotten 2 wins. They're averaging just 114 yards passing per game. 114 yards passing per game. On the other hand, the Giants, look, they've been abysmal. I get it. But they are 21 and 6 against the spread as a road underdog. It's a really good thing, 21 and 6. I think that this game stays close. I'm not telling you the Giants win this game outright, but the emotions will be flowing for New Orleans. It might be too much emotions for them coming back to New Orleans for the first time. This offense is not good. And the one thing I love doing is laying points on the road with a team playing against an offense that I know isn't going to blow this team out. The Saints offense isn't going to blow them out. So that makes me feel, okay, the Giants can keep it close. They can keep it close. The Giants have kept every single game they played in pretty much close. And really, a couple of bad bounces against the Falcons and against Washington, the Giants could be a 2-1 team. So I'm taking the points. I'm taking the 7.5 against the Giants. I also like the under 42 in this game. I think it's a low-scoring game, and when you get a low-scoring game, that means you usually take the underdog because that means you think that the points are going to be close. So give me the Giants +8. I think it's at +7.5 now, and I also like the under 42, but Giants +7.5, +8 is my favorite play for that game. All right, moving along here. Seattle Seahawks +3 traveling to San Francisco for a division battle against the 49ers. The over-under is 52. I'm taking the Seahawks here. Seattle has dominated this rivalry as of late. Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll are 1-2. They do not start off 1-2 often. You don't see that happen during the Pete Carroll, Russell Wilson era, right? So for them to go 1-3 and lose this game, that will put them in a massive hole to fight back in this really good division, when you've got the Saints undefeated, when you've got the Rams undefeated, when you've got the Cardinals undefeated, those two play this week. One team will have a loss, but still, two undefeated teams. The 49ers look good. They should have beat the Packers if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers being Aaron Rodgers. You can't go 1-3 in this division and expect to catch back up. This division is too good. Seattle knows that. Russell Wilson knows that. Pete Carroll knows that. And Seattle has had San Francisco's number. They have. You're going to give me 3 points for this Seattle team that has done really well against San Francisco in the past. I'm taking Seattle here. I'm trusting Russell Wilson. Look, I was against Russell Wilson last week. I told you guys the Vikings are desperate. I said the Vikings are desperate. They have to win this game. They can't go down 0-3. What happens? They won that game. Well, now it's vice versa. The Seahawks are desperate. The Seahawks are now the desperate team. They can't go 1-3. They cannot go 1-3 if they want to keep up with the Rams and the Cardinals and even the 49ers in this division. I think that they win. I think that they showed how desperate they are. I think Russell Wilson puts on a show. He's struggled the first couple weeks. I think he bounces back. Give me the Seahawks +3. Sprinkle a little bit on that money line. I think they win this game outright. I also think it's a high-scoring game. If you like the over-under, if you like the over 52, I think it's a high-scoring game, but my favorite play here, Seahawks +3. Okay, next game here, moving right along to another NFC West divisional battle. Now, this is going to be a fun game, ladies and gentlemen. Rams -4.5 at home to take on the Arizona Cardinals. Over-under is 54.5. All right, so listen, this game is very, very confusing to me. To me, it's very confusing, and this is why. I like the Rams here. Tell you right now, I like the Rams, but this is where it gets confusing. We liked the Rams last week. We told you the Rams are going to win this game. We told you Matthew Stafford is going to throw over 2 touchdowns against the Bucs. All of that cash last week, right? The reason why this game is confusing is because the sharps, the deep pocket professionals out there, they're all over the Cardinals in this spot. They are all over. The sharps are absolutely loving the Cardinals here, and I don't understand why. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean McVay has never lost to the Cardinals since becoming the Rams head coach. He's never lost to the Cardinals, and now he has maybe his best team yet with the Rams. I know that one team went to the Super Bowl, and I know that they were really good, but this is a really good Rams team, and this might be his best team he's had, and he has the Cardinals number. You don't go undefeated since 2016 against a team in your division unless you have their number. He has Cliff Kingsbury's number. He has the Cardinals' number. I love the way Stafford and that offense is playing. I think that the head coach, while I like Kingsbury, I love Kyler Murray, and I think they're going to be a good team, and I was high on them coming into the season. I just think the Rams are better. It's confusing. I don't get why all the sharps are all over the Cardinals, and usually I don't like to go against those deep pocket bettors because usually they know something and they're professional bettors for a reason. But I can't do it here. I trust my numbers. I trust what I'm seeing. I am going against the Cardinals. I'm taking the Rams -4 at home against the Cardinals. I'm going with it. I always love a fun game like this. I think it's going to be a back-and-forth scoring game, but I love what I'm seeing in this Rams team. I think they're the best team in the league right now. And yes, it's odd what's happening with the sharps going all over Cardinals, but give me the Rams -4, -4.5. If you can get the -4, go for that against the Cardinals at home in a big, big divisional showdown. All right, moving right along to some props now. We got a lot of props we love here. First one, Jacoby Myers for the Patriots, wide receiver for the Patriots, over 58.5 receiving yards. Jacoby Myers over 58.5 receiving yards. It's plain and simple here. The Bucs have one of the worst secondaries in the league right now. They are banged up. The Patriots are going to want to keep this game close, and I think they do for a good part of the game, maybe even the whole game, all right? Give me Jacoby Myers over 58.5 receiving yards. This is by far Mac Jones' favorite weapon. He loves looking at Jacoby Myers. Again, the Bucs defense is atrocious right now in the secondary. I like Jacoby Myers to go over 58.5 receiving yards. Another wide receiver, Odell Beckham, over 65.5 receiving yards. Vikings have given up a touchdown and 100 yards receiving to every top targeted receiver in a game this year. Odell Beckham, no Jarvis Landry. He looked really good in his first game back. That Vikings secondary has been atrocious. Odell Beckham over 65.5 receiving yards. Another receiver here I like, Tim Patrick, over 42.5. This is one of my favorite props of the week. Tim Patrick has gone for 8 catches, 135 yards in the last 2 games. The Ravens have had an awful start to the season in terms of their secondary. Their secondary is allowing 314 passing yards per game. That's the 3rd worst in the NFL, ladies and gentlemen. 13 targets, 12 catches so far for Tim Patrick this season. Teddy Bridgewater is clearly trusting him. He's clearly looking his way a lot this season. Tim Patrick is going to fly over 42.5 yards. And for the last play here, my favorite prop, look, I gave it to you guys last week. It cashed in the first half, and I'm coming right back to the well. There's a thing that people like to say in sports gambling: if it works, stick with it. Austin Eckler over 34.5 receiving yards. Look, I don't know why this opened up where at this low. I don't get it, but I'm telling you guys right now, this number will be way higher by the time kickoff happens on Monday night. You better get this number in now, because that number is going to skyrocket over 34.5 receiving yards. This is going to go way up. Just like I told you a couple weekends ago with Rodgers, that number went way up by Monday night. Trust me on this. It's going to go way up here before kickoff. This is a high volume passing game here. The Raiders team struggles defending the middle of the field. All right, they're really bad at defending the middle of the field. That's where Austin Eckler does his damage. The Chargers are ranked 5th in passing attempts per game, and the Raiders are ranked 2nd in passing attempts per game. What does that tell you? That tells you that there's going to be a ton of passing involved in this game. Give me Austin Eckler. It's Justin Herbert's safety net. He's going to look to him all game. Austin Eckler over 34.5 receiving yards. That is it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Fighting Chance Fantasy Sports Betting Show. This is week 4 of the NFL. We have been on fire as of late. I am your host, Kayvon Ezami. Follow me on Twitter at Kayvon_sports. Reach out to me if you have any questions. We will be right back here next week to go through it all again. Enjoy your weekend, enjoy the games, and let's win some money.